I have less time in the day because I'm running, but it feels like there's more time. If you start off your day on such a strong note, then, the rest of the day can only be good too. I would have never ever thought that I could complete a marathon in the near future or ever. And now I'm like actively training for one, and like it makes me just feel proud of myself. So I just like got back not too long ago from Singapore, Hong Kong, and then now the next step is to make it to that headline show for sure. Hi, I'm Ivy. I'm from Norway. I'm 25 years old, and yeah, I'm a singer, artist, and I guess a runner now.
I love the like three-pronged attack of that. Right,
Yeah.
we'll start with the singer and artist element of what you do, and then we'll get into running down the line because I know that's something that's kind of come into your life quite recently, really. Um, I want to go all the way back to kind of young Ivy, right? When did it first become obvious to maybe not so much you, but the people around you that this was something that you were going to want to do into your adult life, becoming a singer, becoming an artist?
Well, I always did like shows for my family and stuff. I'd like 1 penny and yeah, I will perform a song, stuff like that, which must have been annoying when we had guests over. But and then wrote my first song when I was 8 years old, and I took it seriously from the get-go. Like I was obsessed with Hannah Montana, and I wanted to be the next Hannah Montana. I didn't realize at the time she was fictional, but, um, yeah, I was, just obsessed with all things music, really. Music was, like, my therapy from a young age, and, um, as soon as I started writing, I didn't really stop, and I used to reach out to producers, when I was, like, 8 years old already and trying to get into the studio. Used to beg my parents to get me into a recording studio, which didn't happen, but eventually, someone heard my stuff that I posted on YouTube, and yeah, I got to record my very first song at like 12.
When you're at that age, right, and you're posting stuff on YouTube, because that's a story that we've kind
Yeah.
of seen a few times now, like
Yeah.
the Bieber story, the Olivia Rodrigo story, right? That's the same sort of thing. The things that they did, they posted on YouTube. To have that now for new artists is so powerful, isn't it? Do you think without having a platform like that to be able to share what you were doing, that you'd be in the position you are now?
Definitely not. I mean, I still would have been emailing people nonstop when sending them things for sure. But now it's so great that people are able to like share their music on TikTok, for example, and then have it blow up, and like there's a platform and more accessibility to, I guess, smaller artists.
How is your process different now to like when you were a kid? Obviously, you will have learnt a lot of things from a lot of people over the years, and whether that be labels or other artists or many other people, I would imagine, throughout the music industry. But when you're 8, you're just writing down your first thoughts, right? You're thinking
Yeah.
that's going to make a good song. How does that work now? Have you got a specific process when it comes to writing?
It is quite similar. I mean, I started off in like GarageBand playing around
Yeah.
on there, and then my lyrics were so stupid. Like my first song was "I Think I'm in Love" at like 8 years old, and was a boy in my class or something. Um, and now, obviously, with more experience, like my songs are more complex, and I've written songs about like mental health a lot and breakups, all that stuff. Um, but the process is kind of similar. You just have a notepad, or now I write more on my computer because I like to have it all in one spot. But yeah, or I sit down on the piano, which I still do now. So process stays the same.
It might sound silly, but like, how soon after you think of a premise, let's say, like, does it vary in terms of how long something gets from A to B? Is there some songs that like just come like that, and others that take ages?
I've written some songs in like 30 minutes,
Oh,
and
wow.
then the other day I was in the studio and I was trying to write a song with another writer and with a producer, and it took us like 7 hours to think of one verse. So it all varies a lot. And if I have a lot to say that day, and my lyrics, and if melodies flow like easily or not, I tend to write quicker on my own because when I'm in the room with other writers, like it's you know a lot of back and forth and stuff. But I don't overthink it maybe as much if I'm just writing by myself on the piano, so it
It
goes a lot quicker.
it must be such a balancing act of, like, actually having and trying to live life, but
Yeah.
then also being the artist and the musician that you are, right? Because I would imagine without living life and doing quote unquote things, right? You've got nothing to write about. But then if you're doing loads of stuff all the time, then you've got no time to have that part of your headspace as well. So do you find it as like kind of a bit of a balancing act?
I mean, it definitely is, but I always find the time, like, me doing things can be me going to the studio, right? I still have experiences going to the studio, I guess, and living life, but around my schedule. So yeah, I still find a way to experience things to
Does
write
it
about.
ever become overwhelming? Like, do you ever get to a point where you haven't written a song for a while, or you haven't felt inspiration for a while, or you are suffering a bit of writer's block or whatever? Does that do you ever feel like, oh my god, I've lost it? Like, how do I get it back?
I don't think I've ever had writer's block,
Okay,
actually.
that's sick.
I just constantly feel like I have so much to say, which probably annoying for people around me. But no, I constantly have something or a new angle to go about a song. Um, yeah, and I used to write a lot of songs about depression, mental health. Now I've kind of like I'm doing a lot better mentally and physically. So I'm writing more upbeat songs and more fun songs, and those are two completely different vibes with two completely different things to say. So there's always different angles to approach a song.
Because I guess your writing is a depiction of who you are at that point, right?
Yeah.
Which the everyday person doesn't necessarily have. Like, you might look back at photos in of your past life, and maybe it was a difficult time of your life, and you can see that in yourself, but you have this like proper piece of art, this actual song that says how you were feeling at that time, and most people forget feelings. Is it ever difficult to go back and listen to those songs and kind of, I guess, do you feel empathy with the person that wrote them?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wrote a breakup album. That was the last thing I released before this like new era of music that is more like happy and more dancey. But when I listen to it, I'm like, oh my God, it was so dramatic. Like, that is so dramatic. Oh my God. But also listening back to the very like the songs that I wrote during like my major depression era. Listening to that, I'm like, okay, if she only knew like how I was doing now, you know, yeah, would have been nice to tell her everything's gonna be okay. Yeah.
And I think it's good to be able to reflect on that, isn't it? Because we all go through these peaks and troughs in life, and no matter how difficult it is, there is often a way out of it. And I think sometimes people don't realize that, and that's something that I think is underrated when it comes to creators like yourself and musicians, because what you do is so powerful to not only you, like you listening back to you. Obviously, that's something that not many people get to experience, but there will be people listening to that record that you made then and feeling the feelings that you felt.
Mhm.
And that for them is going to be very, very powerful. When you are writing, do you ever do you ever think about that? Do you ever think about the impact that these songs have on people?
Yeah, there's like one song specifically where I was terrified to release it because it was about something so like deeply personal. But then when I played it at a show and I saw the reaction of like little girls in the audience and like how they could relate to it, even though it's heartbreaking, it's like it's cool to see that they get like some sort of release through my music as well, and that they're able to, enjoy my music differently because they can relate to it. So
Those moments at shows when people are, either singing back lyrics or they are,
yeah,
relating to those music relating to those pieces of music, that that I would imagine, you've performed for years now, but I would imagine that never gets old. Like the fact that people are doing that for your tunes that you wrote on your
yeah.
laptop or your phone or on a piece of paper, it must be quite strange sometimes.
It is strange, but it's kind of beautiful in a way.
Mm.
And yeah, I don't only want to make my audience cry with my music either. I want them to dance and have fun, So yeah, stepping into this new kind of era with like fun pop songs is cool to see. There's a wide range of emotions you can like experience during my shows and concerts. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like as I said before, that almost mirrors like life in general, right?
Mm.
I do just want to touch a couple more on the previous music you were making, and you mentioned like you have suffered with your mental health before, and you were in a kind of a state of depression. Was there something that led that to happen? And if you're happy to do so, like what was the trigger to move you into that?
Well, I've always dealt with anxiety and
Okay.
depression and had like a toxic relationship, I guess, with alcohol. Yeah, I think that's what led to like just this major depression. I wasn't like living healthy at all, and I was quite self-destructive. And I felt like those emotions from age 12, maybe. I didn't have a lot of friends in school. Um, quite bullied badly by a group of girls in school and suffered with like self-image and stuff. So I think that's where it started, and then not dealing with those emotions, and then introducing, alcohol into your life when you get older. It's yeah, mm, yeah. I think that's
I think as well, like you can kind of see that, when we're speaking about it, it is such a hard thing to reflect on as well, isn't it? Because it's a period that, and it's something that you will, and a lot of people will be listening to this right now thinking and relating to what you're saying, because I think sometimes people fall into the trap of saying, these are periods of your life, but for most people, or for a lot of people, these things come up and down and they're always there in some capacity. It's just learning to be able to deal with those difficult times in your life when they come. And I guess moving on to where we are now and where you are now, not only making, exciting pop music, stuff that's going to make people dance in that part of your life, but also you've begun this kind of running journey as well, which is this is where I really first came across you, and really was excited to get you on the podcast because I know you've run quite a few run through events at this point, and you're here, there, and everywhere all over the world, but you're spending quite a lot of time in London as well, and you've been to quite a few events. Let's go back to kind of what made you start this. So take me back to what made
yeah.
you put a pair of trainers on.
So it was during like London Marathon in April actually. So this like running journey is like super new and fresh. But during that time, like everyone was posting these like super wholesome videos from London Marathon, and I just was, sobbing at these videos and seeing people accomplish something and feeling so great about themselves from it, and just seeing the support from people around them and the love that they receive, um, I think that's what made me start. Because I would have never ever thought that I could complete a marathon in the near future or ever. And now I'm like actively training for one, and like it makes me just feel proud of myself, I guess. And I think I was craving something to distract from some sad and depressive thoughts at the time, and just in the little time that I've been running, I can see improvement, and it just makes me a better person all around, I'd say. Um, yeah, I have stamina now even to do shows a lot more than I used to dance on stage, and yeah, I guess. Sorry, that was the longest answer to your
No,
question.
I absolutely love that. I love a long answer. Don't worry about that at all. There is a few things I definitely want to touch on there, right? So let's start with the show thing because that's something you don't think about really as somebody
Yeah,
that doesn't perform, like somebody that isn't on stage. You're not only dancing, but you're singing as well, which obviously when you're dancing, that's something that gets you out of breath. How are you going to
yeah.
sing? Like you've got this all of these things that you have to think about. And that's something that you've really noticed, is it, since you've started running, that there is more stage fitness?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been told, by vocal coaches and stuff, you should run on a treadmill and you should sing. So that
Okay.
was also my plan all along, but I wasn't able to run 1K without being out of breath. Um, and so that's like for sure an added bonus that I'm able to perform longer sets and that I'm able to sing better. Yeah, sometimes I sing on my runs too, just to make sure I mix that in. But yeah.
I love that. If you're ever at a run through race or you're at a,
Yeah.
you're in London and you're jogging around Battersea Park or something, and you see someone singing at the top of their lungs, you know who it is now. You know who it is.
I was singing during the Richmond half marathon,
Well, yeah, I love
actually,
that.
just distracting myself from the pain of the hills. The hills were
Yeah,
intense.
there definitely are a few hills in that one, but a great course. I think as well, you mentioned, and I think a lot of us use running for this, and it's something I've spoken about on the podcast quite recently. The kind of the difference in my day if I run and if I don't run, and I described it
Mhm.
recently as kind of a cloudiness. So like I often feel a little bit cloudy if I don't go out, and it's not just running, but it's any form of movement and exercise. It's so easy to just sit down and crack on with work and open the laptop, and I'm sure you feel
Yeah.
like that as well. But I never feel as creative as I do if I go out and actually do something and then come back to that. I wonder if that's something you feel as well. Like since you've begun that journey since April, has there been like a spike in your creativity? I know you've said you've always wrote songs and you continue to do so, but have you noticed there's even more inspiration?
I mean, yeah, there is, and, my goal now is to write a song that I can run to, which is
Okay,
at my
class.
pace perfectly. So that would be sick, but, yeah, I definitely felt like not just with the creativity, but, like, productivity, I guess. I pronounced that weird, but, um, yeah, it just feels like I can accomplish more in my day, which is actually crazy because I have less time in the day because 'cause I'm running, but it feels like there's more time. And, if you start off your day on such a strong note, then, the rest of the day can only be good too, right?
I could not relate to that anymore. Genuinely, when you said like it feels like there's more time even though there's less time. That
Yeah.
is so, so true because I think it's just that thing about getting firing, getting going, like your body waking up, right?
Yeah.
And I guess as we're speaking like this, I'm I'm taking that you're probably more of a morning runner, are you, than a late
Yeah.
night or afternoon runner? Was that always the case as soon as you started? Was it get up and go or
Well, I spent a lot of time in Marbella, especially during summer now, and you have to wake up at like 6, at
okay.
least start running at 6 a.m. If you're gonna do like a 2-hour run, then you might want to start early for it not to get too hot. So
Good ha
definitely I
good
became a
habit to get
morning
into.
person from
Yeah.
it.
Became a morning person, was that part of your personality, or were you like, no, you're like in bed till 10 o'clock type vibe?
I could sleep until, especially during like summer vacation kinda, then I could sleep until 2 p.m. before.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, and now I'm up already out the door at 6 a.m. So, yeah, maybe that's why there's more hours in the day.
Yeah, it would,
It
I
also
guess
feels, yeah, it
that
feels like
makes sense.
I don't need as much sleep as I used to. But I think it's the cutting out alcohol from my life as well, and I just feel more energized and happier and productive.
Did that all happen at a similar time then? Kind of like cutting out alcohol as well and kind of moving towards this healthier lifestyle. Was that all April, or was this kind of a journey that came to April and then it was like running after that?
And it was a journey, for sure, and I only cut out alcohol quite recently because I just noticed, "Oh, I can't go for a run the next day."
Okay.
If I'm drinking the night before, I'm not gonna be up at 6 AM running, um, and just my whole mood would change, and I just realized what it was doing to my body, I guess. Um, it wasn't a very healthy relationship with it either, so I'd end up in situations I, didn't wanna be in, or, um, just generally my depression would get worse, um, versus, going to bed early, getting up early in the morning. Um, my mental health has never been better.
It's a really hard thing to accept that though, isn't it? Like to say, I am going to stop this thing that, you know, I would imagine you've used for a while to deal with it, but you're using it kind of to deal with it in a different way to this thing that you're now using to deal with it. How did you get to that point of like accepting that that was something that you needed to kind of cut out and stop?
Mm, I don't know, I think it's just also signing up for a marathon next year.
Okay.
I'm like, "Okay, full focus." Like, if I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna survive it and get through, you know, the whole, thing, then, I need to be at tip-top shape mentally and physically. And yeah, and
Okay.
that's a big reason for it, for sure. Just my love for running came out the blue, but yeah, I think I don't wanna go back to drinking even after the marathon.
26.2 miles. When you say that, when I say that, does that sound scary? Like, is that does that give you like butterflies?
It does sound scary. However, I think the feeling after will be so rewarding that it's gonna be so worth it. Also, it's London Marathon, like, it's
Okay.
gonna be insane. It's only, like, a year before I would have then seen the TikToks and content about it and been inspired to run, and the year after I'm running it. I think that's so cool.
That is, yeah, unbelievable. And I think the fact that your journey, it kind of is going to culminate, the first part of this journey is going to culminate with like what was the beginning of it, the
Mm,
kind of like you're thinking of it as like a chrysalis, right? And then you're going to be coming out and you're going to be like actually doing it, which is so cool. And you talked about TikTok there and seeing all the content. I bet your algorithm at the moment is just
yeah, it's only
absolutely,
running
it's
content.
just literally running.
Trying to figure out what shoes to use for what type of runs and, like, gels and vests, and, like, there's just so much stuff that goes into running that I didn't realize. Like, I thought you put on a pair of trainers and you just go out the door, um, but there's so much more to it, and I think I got obsessed with the running world, not just the actual running, but, like, the whole everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things that you can make as complicated as you want to make it, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I think you can take a step away sometimes and think, oh, actually, like, and I love the way that you say, I just thought it was kind of putting on a pair of trainers and getting out of the door because in essence, it is, but
Yeah, yeah,
there is just all this other stuff that is like,
yeah.
"Oh my god," and it can get a little bit overwhelming sometimes as well, can't it? Like, particularly at the start of your journey, you're like, "Which way do I go with this? Like, which shoes do
Yeah.
I get? Like, what's a tempo run? What's a threshold run?
Mhm.
What's a long run?" Have there been times where you have got overwhelmed with it and you thought, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this?"
No, I think, well, I think when I, posted the photo after the half marathon, which you guys reposted, there were some comments and stuff that like made me kind of, oh, I should like backtrack a little bit.
Wow, okay.
There were a couple comments saying, oh, why are influencers doing running events? Also, yeah, I think. seeing there's so many die-hard runners, right? And instead of kind of welcoming into the running community, there can be some backlash, but majority, 100% has been super welcoming, and it's been yeah, it's been overall super good, but then, yeah, I was like, "What am I doing? I don't know anything about this," and, it maybe it's more complex than I thought, and
Well,
but it really shouldn't be.
no.
We're all just enjoying, the same thing, so
Let me be the first one to say that every single person is welcome at not only events but in the running community, and this is something we've covered many times. And there is in every community, isn't there, a very small group of people that will
yeah,
gatekeep or that will say you're doing something wrong because you're not doing it their way, and it's like it it doesn't need to be like that. Like,
yeah,
we've spoken about in this conversation what it has done for you, and it's like,
mhm,
it's done so much for you personally. So, wherever you wanna run, whatever event you wanna do, whichever pair of shoes you decide to wear, like,
yeah,
that should be the thing that you hold on to. And, yeah, never try and never look at comments like that from people and think anything
yeah,
bad, because stopping your running journey now wouldn't only impact, I feel like I'm doing a motivational speech here. Wouldn't it wouldn't only impact kind of, um, you know, the fact that you're getting fitter and enjoying it, but it would impact everything else that we've talked about, like your mental health and everything like that as well, right?
exactly,
And that's why you're
yeah,
doing it.
exactly. No, I think I'll be fine, I'll keep running, don't worry.
No, I know. I did feel a little bit motivational speechy there, but there we are. We move. Um,
And
it's
also, only the people that are commenting stuff like that are not the
yeah.
majority, sorry. They are, yeah, the ones that are hiding behind screens and, like you said, wanna gatekeep their passion, and I get it, but, yeah,
Have
running's for
you?
everyone.
It is for everyone. I like that. Have you ever found that in sort of the artistic world as well with your music? Have you experienced that in the past? That sort of people through a screen saying things that, is
Yes.
unkind about your music, which must be very hard because it's so personal.
Yeah, absolutely. I found that they can't really say much when it comes to, like, the super personal songs, though,
Okay.
because, like, what are people gonna say to a song about mental health, you know? Are they gonna diss it? And there's more hate to, like, a fun song maybe sometimes, but it's a fun song. Like, I don't yeah, I don't I don't understand, people that hide behind screens and say stuff or try to demotivate you from, any passion that you have. Yeah.
Where are you in your headspace at the moment then with your music? Because I know we've said, you're making a lot more fun records. It's all about kind of movement and having a good time. But like, what do you foresee in the next 12 months in your kind of musical career?
Releasing a really fun collaboration with the DJ soon, which is
Amazing.
exciting. My goal now is to do a headline show. So headlining a show in London would be amazing. And then I'd like to do a show in my hometown as well. That's kind of the goal now. And yeah, I have a song dropping on September 5th as well, and a music video with full dance choreography that I never would have gotten through 12 hours of shooting if it weren't for running. So, in heels, by the way, full choreography in heels for a full day of yeah, of filming. It was intense. But yeah, I'm excited for people to see that music video because it's the first time that I'll be fully dancing in a video. So,
Have you thought about the marathon in heels?
oh, that would be amazing. Let me get through the first one first, and then and then we'll see. Because when I made it, like, to the last 200 meters, I don't know if I should be saying this, but last 200 meters of the half marathon, I had taken one too many gels, I think, and they were caffeinated, and yeah, I puked 3 times in the
Oh,
last,
bless you.
like, 200 meters. and then puked right as I finished crossing the finish line as well. So straight to the paramedics.
Yeah.
But I'm figuring out what worked, what went well, and what didn't work, and I'll implement that into my training for sure.
Trust me when I say we've all been there, and
Yeah.
we've all been there in. I don't know how crew to get in this, to be honest, but every most runners have experienced it. Uh, in all instances, let's say. Um,
Yeah.
it's very exciting that you've got like that tune coming out, and we'll put all the links and everything in the description to this. So do make sure you go and support Ivy as well. And it's super super exciting that you're thinking about like headline shows and stuff, not only at home but also in London. Have you got dream venues in mind, like for a first show? Where would you love to play if it could be anywhere?
I mean, there's so many in mind, but there's one called The Grace,
Yeah.
which is cool. There's a few in Camden that I definitely want to perform at. So we'll see. We'll look at the capacities and stuff at the venues and not dream too big. But I think some people would show up. So
What would
it could
show
be
up?
fun. Yeah,
I think you'll be absolutely fine. Some people will show up. I think you can get more than some people, and this is the exciting thing, right? Because I'm gonna kind of relate running to music here, but it's all a journey, right? Like you'll start with a 5K, and that will have been when you were back years ago playing like your first shows. Then you'll step up to a 10K, and it's like,
hmm,
okay, maybe that is supporting somebody at a bigger venue, and then it's a half marathon, and that's like
yeah,
your own venue, and then you're onto your marathon, and you're kind of
yeah.
playing big shows in big places, and that 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 whole process of not only writing but a career in music. Can you kind of relate that to a running journey a little bit? Does it almost feel like there is a relation there?
Yeah, I mean, I've done quite a lot of like shows that I would say are my 5Ks, right?
Yeah,
And then
loads.
um like loads of those. And then I've been on tour with a DJ. I've done like Asia tour. So I just like got back not too long ago from Singapore, Hong Kong, and yeah, loads more. Um but that maybe was my 10K, right? And then now the next step is to make it to that um, headline show for sure. So that's a great way of looking at it. I've never actually thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's nice. And then, hey, we're on to stadiums and ultra marathons down the line, aren't
Exactly.
we?
Oh my God. No, I started swimming as well as way to like cross train.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'm only one step away now from from going into the triathlons here.
Here we go. See, this is how it all starts, Ivy. I love this story of like, oh yeah. Do you know what? Then I decided to buy a bike, and you're like, huh?
Uh-huh.
Where are we going here?
Closer.
Yeah, exactly that.
And
Um,
switching from an Apple Watch to a Garmin,
uh,
all those little steps, you know?
you are well and truly in here, Ivy. You're well and truly in. Um, I think this is a good place to wrap up because you're somebody that is very well positioned to be able to talk to somebody that is really at the start of their running journey or is thinking about starting their running journey. Maybe they're hearing your story and they're in a bit of a darker place themselves, and they're hearing
Yeah.
you talk about how you managed to move through that through not only your music but also like by starting a running journey and maybe taking a few things out of your life as well. Like what would be your advice to somebody that is listening to this and thinking maybe I could do this as well, maybe this is for me?
Running is like the best therapy, and it's amazing what it's done for me. And if I can do that, then like anyone can do it because I was really digging myself deep into a hole. So, and I feel so much better and just feel at peace. And I don't feel like I need alcohol anymore to like have a good day. You know, I can start off my day bright and early, go for a run, and just my whole mood has changed.